my time. These magazines wanna feature me, cause they know I'm on the rise. Get the attention, I'm on a mission. Cause ever since I flipped that switch, my power can't be denied. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. Call me a king, buy me a crown. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. I'm leveled up, and this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who try to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. Pay attention, I'm on a mission, a man with a vision. Got a passion, making it happen, ready for action. And this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who try to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. So anyone who try to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. And this is my world now. And this is my world now. And this is my world now. This is my world now. Hey! Here we go! We're coming, ready or not, you better steady yourself, because we're raising some hell. There's nothing keeping this roof from blowing off. We're taking over the town, hit the switch and shut it down. Like India, we're electric, never stop. We're coming, ready or not, we're coming, ready or not. We're giving all that we got, we're giving all that we got. We're coming, ready or not. We're throwing gas on the fire, the stratosphere getting high.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Our family started RVing a few years ago, and when I think about all those campfires and fishing trips and sporting events, these are memories that are going to last a lifetime. I want to help others do the same thing. Hi, I'm Kevin Smith, General Manager at the all-new CLICKIT RV in Milton Freewater. People in this community are very familiar with this location and the great service they've always received. So the biggest question we get is, where is Keith? The great news is, Keith is still here.
I've seen a lot of changes. I've seen a lot of things come and go. Through all the changes that we have seen, one thing that has not changed for us is the quality of our service.
Buying an RV is a big purchase, but it should be a fun and happy experience. So whether it be in sales or service or parts, our mission is simple: be the best. From our team here at CLICKIT RV in Milton Freewater, we invite you to come down and experience the difference.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to iRacing on LSRTV, simulcast on the Community Radio Network. And, of course, after a wild truck race on Monday night, won by Caden Anderson, that was just probably one of the wildest finishes we've ever seen in the history of the series. We now see what the Northwest CLICKIT RV Fixed Setup Series will provide with the Xfinity B cars. We're ready to go. Welcome to our coverage at Virtual Dirt Daytona, the World Center of Racing. I am Wesley Outland, back again for another season, Season 4. Terry Radford is alongside out of Savannah, Georgia, and Jason Rockefeller, our buddy up in New Jersey, is ready to go as well. Terry, we missed you Monday night. Wild race, wild finish. And I think we're going to see the same thing with these cars, probably even more exciting tonight, no doubt.
Yeah, my voice might not have been on it, but I was definitely out there in the chat watching. That was a pretty spectacular finish. Kind of hard to keep me away from watching some racing. But tonight's going to be a little bit more, I want to say more wild, but I think it's going to be a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more calm, cool, collective. The Fixed series is just a little bit of a different feel than what you get from that open set. You can make the outside work quite a bit more in the truck, but these Xfinity cars are a little bit of pain in the ass, because if you pull out to that outside lane, you go to put it down on that door, that air don't take too well to these cars. They wants to suit you up the racetrack, wants to make it a little more wiggly. It takes a lot more to hold a pretty wheel, too. And, oh, yeah, you can tandem draft in these things. We saw it in the dual races. Jason, I think we're going to have a good show.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I said it in the duels, this is my favorite series to run on iRacing. The open sets I know are super fun, but I mean, the fixed sets are like no other. And Wesley and I, when we called the race on Monday for the Truck Series, there's a lot of double wide racing for a good portion besides the one big wreck around lap 15. The first half of the race was just side by side. I guarantee you it's going to be just like that tonight, not because it's Daytona, you know, but really because of that fixed setup. It's kind of the racing product that it provides with the fixed setup. You're going to see a lot of tandem drafting. A lot of guys are going to be more comfortable giving pushes, but we saw it in the duels last weekend or last Wednesday. Do not, and I mean do not push on that right rear because we saw a lot of guys go around on Wednesday night.
Yeah, we certainly did. I mean, we saw where there was a lot of give and take, more take that at the end of this thing. And I agree with Terry and Jason wholeheartedly. I believe that that's exactly the outcome we're going to have. The question is you got to find your teammates. You got to get them in line. But then when it comes down to the end of these 10 miles or so, Terry, it's all bets are off, and it's every man for themselves because they want to win that race to open up the season.
Yeah, I told y'all last week I could give a rat's behind about the duels. I don't care about a 30-lap dash to the finish. I don't care about a 10-lap to decide my starting position. This is where the money's paid. This is where the bread's eaten at, right? You get the miles down. I don't remember off the top of my head how many laps are going to go tonight, but
200 miles, 80 laps.
80 laps. So you get to lap 75 or so. Say we are green. Say we stay green for the final 10, 15 laps of this thing. I don't care who's on my front bumper coming off of 4. They won't be on my front bumper coming to the tri-oval. They'll be that way or that way before we get to the tri-oval to cross the start-finish line to win at the World Center of Racing.
Jason, we saw a pretty wild finish on Monday night, no doubt. Of course, Terry said he was watching it, not in the broadcast with us, but Jason, that was a crazy finish. I mean, that race had any and everything, especially the last 10 miles of it, and of course, didn't even go into overtime. They still went the scheduled distance, and they raced it out to the finish, and I mean, Caden Anderson, just right place, right time. And can we see the Yakima, Washington driver do a repeat for the race this week?
It's possible, but I see this guy right here. You know, he's shaking his head no. It can happen. It can happen. But your chances are slim to none. It's going to be really hard. It's going to be like winning the Powerball almost, unless you're a super good plate racer like Dale Jr., Joey Logano, or like Junior's dad. You know, it's going to be hard to win tonight, but the aggression level tonight is cranked all the way up to 100 on the dial because like we talked about, not only last week, like we just talked about before, you can push a lot harder with these cars, flatter bumpers, you can tandem. You're going to see a lot of guys try to do that here tonight. One guy I have in particular was the 6 car of Dylan Huffines. He was really good on Monday, but not only that, he was also really good in his duel last week. He made his way up to the front fairly quickly, and he hung around there the whole time. He's a driver I definitely circle on my clipboard tonight for a driver to look out for, along with like Toby Ritters, Briar Reynolds, a lot of guys. This is honestly anybody's race here tonight.
You know what's so funny? I just looked over at my time screen and said, who am I going to pick to win this race? The 6 of Dylan Huffines. I was going to pick the 6 to win it. Great minds think alike. Jason and Terry are like peanut butter and jelly. The 6 is going to win this race. You can take that one to the bank. Postmark it in the chat for all I care. Number 6 to victory lane tonight.
I'll tell you who my pick's going to be. I'm going to go with Ryan Bloom because he's carrying all that momentum, being the Truck Series champion. He looked really good as we go down to the Virtual World Center of Racing on track. The field is gritting. My pick, Ryan Bloom. So we've got Jason and Terry going with Dylan Huffines. I'm going to go with Ryan Bloom, and we are set to go. As, by the way, the extended olive branch was given to make it a 43-car field. We have a 43-car field for race 1 of the Northwest CLICKIT RV Fixed Series tonight. Here's your starting lineup. On the front row, fast qualifier, Ryan Bloom in the 25 to the outside. Ron Hunter. Boy, he could turn some heads tonight in that 30. Row number 1. Row 2, Devin West in the 5. Troy Daggett, 99. Row 3, those are your dual winners, by the way. Dan Lowther, Daryl Tidrick make up row 3. Row 4, Ryan Gormley and Zach Rush. Top 10, Terry at Daytona. Stephen O'Hare and Chris Kynes in the 20.
See if I can not butcher any names today. I got Russ Lundberg back there starting row 6. There's our pick, Jason. Dylan Huffines out there in that 6 machine on the outside. Row 7, we're going to find Kevin Smith, the CLICKIT RV man himself, with Dennis Moore to the outside, who likes my Braves hat. Paul Newton and Seth Frazier round out row 8. Row number 9, Stephen Paulison, and they got Toby Ritter, so he might be pretty fast here too. And rounding out your top 20, Tristan T. Wood and Sean Brightsman in the 46.
Row 11, Tom Teets in the 79, Tyler Kim to the outside in 38. Row number 12, Brett Johnson in the 7, James Vining, the Catman, the 333. Row number 13, Chad Malik in the 08, and BJ Duvall in the 32. Row 14, Robert Gamble, Chris White, former champion of the Cup, in the 28th position. And your top 30, Jason, John Ottenbacher and Cole Raz.
Yeah, then the rest of the, you got row 16, Jeff Stabnow, who sat on the pole for the truck race, looking to rebound tonight with a good finish. And Scott Hutchinson in the number 91 machine. Row 17, Frank Harris. And then you got right here, row 18, Aaron Cooper, Briar Reynolds in the number 12 machine. Row 19, Jaden Ledbetter in the 36, and Carl Burke in the number 53. Next row, you got Tyler King, Ambrose Niebel. And that's your starting
Rest of the lineup in the back. The rest of the lineup in the back of the 43 trucks cars include Tyler King, Ron Hunter, Chris White. Some of these guys have not made it. Jaden Ledbetter, Aaron Cooper, all in the back as we're ready to come to the line. Green flag in the air, 200 miles, 80 laps. The season is underway for the Northwest CLICKIT RV Big Setup Series at Daytona. And you have a virtual race. Terry, they send it off into turn number 1 with Ryan Bloom on the hole shot.
Yeah, Ryan Bloom holds the bottom right in front of Devin West in the 5 machine. 99 of Troy Daggett sitting there holding that 3rd place position. The outside lane starting to make momentum as they head down the back straightaway for the first time, Jason.
Yeah, everybody right now just wants to be super patient. You don't want to be too aggressive. We saw that in the duels, in the second duel race, and you surely do not want to be too aggressive. You already see some of the packs starting to split up. One big pack in the front, and then all stragglers in the back as they head off turn 4 to complete lap 1 with Ryan Bloom out front, followed by Devin West.
Coming through the tri-oval, 1 lap in, 79 to go. Give lap number 1 to Ryan Bloom. Devin West hugged to the inside. He was in the hunt for the win in the truck race on Monday night. Daggett, dual 2 winner up on the outside. Terry, they battle door to door behind the leader in turn number 2.
Yeah, still continue side by side. No push so far from the bottom or the top. Now the 5 gets to the back bumper of Ryan Bloom, and that 25 gives him a little bit of a shot. A little bit of the tandem draft we talked about. They broke away from Lothar back there in the 4th place position as the 99 and the 45 starting to make headways their door-to-door on the outside lane for 2nd, coming off of turn number 4, Jason.
Yeah, Lowther's just trying to be really consistent on that inside lane. You got to remember to yourself, Terry, you know this too, and for the drivers and the people watching at home, it is so hard to see the car in front of you. Well, the car that's in front of you, if that makes sense. We're right on board now with Daryl Tidrick in the number 45, right behind that that outside line. If you're in the driver's seat, it is so hard to see in front of you. So a lot of these guys got to be really careful with when they're pushing, because you don't want to push the pusher. And that is a big key here tonight, because the visibility is slim to none above the car in front of you.
Working their way into turn number 3. Little bump draft on the side beside those machines of Daggett and Lowther. 22 powers in the bottom of the mix of Gormley. Gormley now carries also O'Hare with him on the bottom as they work their way back through the tri-oval. About to put 10 miles into this race of 200 miles, 80 laps, 3 attempts at overtime, 1 fast repair if needed, 3 sets of tires with the original and 2 more sets in the pits. And of course, 3 attempts again if needed for green-white checker. But right now, it's Ryan Bloom to the back straightaway leading. I tell you what, Terry, we're watching Ryan Gormley. Look at this move now as they go to the outside. This is also Troy Daggett stuck in the mix. Daryl Tendrick. All of this happening as they work their way coming out of turn number 4, heading back to the start-finish line. Jason, right now, everybody just kind of riding and driving. What are you thinking as we still ride on board with the rear camera of Gormley in turn 2?
Yeah, you're just trying to be really patient right now, Wesley. It's such a long race, just like Monday night was. And a lot of those guys did a very good job, all night long on Monday night, and they got to do the same thing here. But everybody, I'm also noticing too, everybody's very squirrely lifting. That's the thing. The suck-up rate on these cars is so quick. Oh my goodness, so many of them got loose going through 3. You got to be careful tonight. You got to make sure you know when to back off.
Definitely they did. Ryan Gormley, that car went down below the double yellow line and got fishtailed, came back up onto the banking, if you will, entering the apron of the racetrack. And I'll tell you what, Terry, right now we're seeing Dan Lowther trying to make something for the lead as he goes to Battle Bloom to the top side in 1.
Yeah, finally gets a good shot on that outside lane. As you haven't seen a whole lot of moves that have been made. You saw the 63 Lowther go to the outside. Now you're starting to see Troy Daggett give him a shot, starting to push a little harder. We talked about that in the opening portion of the show, is the outside lane has to work harder. In the open sets, that outside lane does not have to push as hard because pure speed alone can get you to the lead. I know I have a really good setup for this. Oh, is there just, that's another part. There's so much speed here in these cars. You're going back and forth, swaying left and right. And, oh, good gosh. This is going to get scary, Wesley.
Gotta have patience. Gotta have patience. A little slicing and dicing, moving up into the banking as they climb the 31 degrees again at Daytona. Down the back stretch on board, Zach Rush, his car now slims in the top 10. Trying to battle Tendrick and O'Hare. Tendrick in front of him. Here comes now Lundberg to the inside to get to the top 10. Jason going to 3.
Yeah, we're still riding on board with Zach Rush, but everybody's so squirrely. You see the number 129 of Russ right there on the inside. Look at the gap he's created between him and Stephen O'Hare. That is an easy free ticket to go down to the bottom if one of those drivers want it on the outside lane. But everybody's so squirrely. It's so hard to lift right now. Everybody's flying at over 200 miles an hour as they fly it through turns 1 and 2.
Climbing the banking. And all the while, Ryan Bloom, the man that's leading the way as we're approaching 20 miles into this event. Ryan Bloom, Devin West, Ryan Gore, Dan Lowther, Stephen O'Hare. And they're still getting unorganized in the back stretch, but they're still holding it to 3.
Yeah, they're still holding it together as every single one of the drivers are just figuring it out, right? You remember we talked about in the duels, it's a little easier to play with the half of the field. It's a little bit different to play with the full field. The speeds are intensified. The draft, the pull, the suck, as you want to call it, becomes just a little bit bigger. You begin to have just a little bit more problems on your hand. You see the first part of this pack is still intact. You go all the way back. You go all the way back to potentially, I don't know, the 23rd position of Scott Hutchinson. They are 7 3/4 off of the lead. Brightsman, 24 back. There's a lot of drivers that had differing strategies. Get away from this area. Start on pit road. Don't put yourself in a bad position. There's a lot of things that can happen. It's also why I said the duels didn't matter because, well, some drivers didn't even bother to make the grid. They just sit on pit road and waited.
Very good analogy there. As they come across the line, it'll be now 9 laps completed next time by. The leader is still Ryan Bloom. Think of Ryan Bloom and all the momentum he carried going into the season. He got better as a Cup driver. Moved into the trucks. He comes so close to being one of the guys to lock up a championship. Finished 2nd behind Tyler King. Devin West, one of those drivers that are part-timers, but make no bones about it, Jason, when the 5 from Shelton, Washington is on it, he can be a contender. He comes so close to winning on Monday night in the truck race here.
Yeah, and he was one of those dual winners, I believe, from last Wednesday night. And he's definitely a threat to reckon with here tonight. Another driver I want to point out, too, who is super strong in the Truck Series on Monday night was Dan Lowther, as he leads that outside lane in that tied-looking number 63 Camaro. And he's got Troy Daggett behind him, who I believe also won both of his dual races, both in the truck and the fixed series. So those are two guys who know how to get around Daytona. I expect them to try to hook up a lot tonight, but no doubt about it, look out for Devin West and also Dan Lowther here tonight.
Look at Tidrick now, Terry, trying to climb up the bank, and then look who's also coming. Here comes Clifford. Look at the 23 on the outside lane. Toby Ritters is trying to crack the top 10.
Yeah, he jumps up to the outside and he quickly goes back down to the bottom. Realized that the lane wasn't necessarily moving the way that he wanted to. There's two differing styles when it comes to plate racing. You have pushers and you have pushees. Just depends on what you want to be. If you want to be the pushee all race long, well, you have to be able to hold a pretty wheel. You have to be able to keep it straight, keep it sturdy, hold the yellow line or hold the middle groove, and still be able to side draft in that portion. If you want to be a pusher, you have to make sure you hit it center mass, hit it right down the middle, hit it into the Toyota, the Ford, or the Chevy emblem, and don't scoot off to the left side of the cookie jar or the right side of the cookie jar. Smack dab in the middle, hit the chocolate chip. Right now, it looks like Toby Ritters, he wants to be the guy on the bottom that starts to move people up off of it and bring them to the outside. He's got one more in front of him. That's Dennis Moore, the 44.
And they work their way now back into the turn one. Just about 40 miles into this race now, believe it or not. Just like that. As Ryan Bloom still shows suit up in front. Lowther in the number 2 spot. Here comes Devin West now going back to second. Starting to get organized there on the back behind the leaders. They thought about Jason going 2 and 3 wide. Now they fan back apart into a 2-car draft.
Yeah, you're going to see this outside right here. They're going to start to check up here once they get down the straightaway. They're going to be coming with a head of steam, but you can see just how bottlenecked that outside lane gets. And look at the bottom lane just rolling a heck of a lot better right there. But one thing I do want to say about this 2-lane scenario here with this fixed Xfinity Series car is the outside lane is super fast if you can get the right guys up on that lane. But I'm also noticing a lot of guys on the bottom are very, very squirrely. So if I were some of these drivers, I would definitely like to stick to the outside lane because that lane has a lot of momentum coming off turns 2 and off turns 4, but that bottom just continues to roll. And this is primarily a series or car, you should say, where the outside lane is really dominant here at Daytona, so you might see that later on in the race.
31 degrees of banking as they climb off the banking, heading to the straightaway. Back through the trioval. Storming past the line. It's still Bloom, the leader. West second. Lowther now. He goes outside lane. Got a wingman in Daggett and Tidrick as they climb the banking, 3-1.
You got to be careful. I'm starting to see people starting to get a little bit on the quarter panels here. I saw Devin West. He peeked underneath the 25 of Ryan Bloom down the back straightaway. Attempted to make that move. Thought maybe he would get that 25 in the middle. You see right here, need some air, but that's not necessarily how you do it here. If you're the 25, you want to go about right where you're at. Let that 5 get air from the bottom. Don't do it down the straightaway. That gives the momentum all the way through that to the bank into the 31 degrees. Gives them an opportunity to put the nose out there on you. Take the air off of the spoiler a little bit, try to pull you backwards. But this is some exciting racing up front with 2 cars, Wesley, holding that outside lane intact.
And I was about to say, hold on, Tidrick. He looked like he was dirt tracking it through the trioval a moment ago. That top car, third in the back. Hey, let's take a look at the Coffee Creative weather conditions. Bottom right of the TV monitor. As we set the stage for this race, there it is. Nighttime, 67 degrees, 68 track temp, wind speed between 9 to 10 miles an hour. Jason, what's that weather going to be like for the drivers tonight?
And well, I tell you what, Wesley, it's not going to be as bad as what we had on Monday night because there was a moment where I believe it was Dan Lowther and I believe Jeff Stabnow. They were coming into turn number 3, and that wind speed was upwards of almost 15 miles an hour. That's a lot. It might not seem like a lot, especially when you're inside the race car, but boy, oh man, does it play an aero difference here. And it's going to play a little bit of a factor tonight with these Xfinity Series cars when they head into the corner. Sure, it's only 9 miles an hour, but 9 is just enough to upset the balance of these race cars just a little bit. But overall, I wouldn't really be too worried if I were these guys. I would just worry about not trying to wreck one another in the draft.
They were saving it big time for sure. And that wind, much more comfortable tonight than it was at Virtual Daytona Monday. And the trucks, by the way, are so different, Terry, than these fixed setup cars. That's an open truck series. This is a fixed setup Xfinity V Series car.
Yeah, it's a massive difference in what you see. Like I talked about it off the jump. You can change camber, caster, tape. You can change the skew in the truck. You can put the right rear shock all the way down. You can plant that truck's nose all the way down for maximum speed. And you have an opportunity to say, okay, I want to be the pusher or the pushee. And that's how you set your truck up. Maybe your truck's better leading, or maybe your truck's better in the pack, and it handles well. Well, in the fixed series, it's all the same. So it does not matter if it's not a matter if the car can handle the push. It's all driver based. It's all what the driver can do. Can the driver push with the setup? You're all on equal playing fields. It's all skill based. So it's not going to be any surprise that you see the drivers that you see up front here at these plate tracks. There's about 20% luck and about 80% skill here as they still sway left and right down the back straightaway.
And still staying on board with these drivers. So you're seeing all of them trying to negotiate, fighting the wind, fighting the draft from the front, the back, the side draft. Nicole Bryant Photography Ford, that's O'Hare to the inside. All of these drivers work their way back through the tri-oval. That's Daggett up in front of Lowther. And they got a little unorganized there, Jason, for a minute, and they hold it back together. And by the way, we're 40 miles in.
Yeah, 40 miles in, and we're already 20 laps into this race. These guys have already lasted longer than the Truck Series did before their first caution on Monday night. But knock on wood, hopefully I don't give the commentators jinx, because I tend to do that a lot over here. No matter what we're doing, Lowther side drifts Ryan Bloom down the back straightaway. It's getting a little dicey. These guys have raced for 20 laps. They're saying, hey, man, come on. I want to try to get to the front. And Troy Daggett and Dan Lowther, they're doing just that right now. They're battling Ryan Bloom and Devin West for the lead coming out of turn 4 to the tri-oval to hit lap 21.
Terry, does it look like... Oh, hold on there. Tendrick behind Tendrick. Almost smacked the wall. That was Russ Lundberg, the 129. 3 wide now as Huffines is in the middle. Dilly, your pick, Terry. Boy, what a save for Lundberg. How did they go?
No.
Oh, I go. Oh, I knew it was coming. Lundberg into the wall. 4 cars scampering, sliding. Caution out. Terry, you could just feel, you could just feel that storm brewing there. Seriously.
Yeah, I felt like that's what you were about to ask me. My answer was about to be yes. You see it here. Lundberg got a push from the back there. Kind of got him a little bit cattywampus, pulls him up the racetrack a little bit. And then you see the 3 wide. It works, but you get these close quarters. They just make slight contact. The 129 comes down, taps the door. Believe from the high above. Can't necessarily see what the number
that's
is.
Kim.
Tyler Kim catches Kim. Kim catches him back, and then it's just it brings back the Newton's law of physics. You know, everything has an opposite and forcible reaction. So you make contact with me, contact gets made back with you. You hit the wall, and then everybody else goes in. That the opposite reaction thing happens. But right at this moment, now you're in a different bit of a transitional phase, because if this is Terry Radford behind the driver's seat of any of these drivers, I'm not taking tires. I'm not taking tires until to what you think would be potentially the last caution of the day. Tires mean nothing on a cold racetrack here.
But do you pit? Do you pit,
yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Jason, do
yes.
you pit?
Oh, yes. Yes, I'm taking fuel.
Absolutely, but only for fuel. If you're going to take tires, I kind of disagree with Terry. I want to say if you're going to take tires, because you never know, fuel could become a factor in the end of this race, I would say take tires about halfway to maybe lap 50 of this race, because that's when your grip is going to fall off just a little bit, but everybody's on pit road for fuel and possibly tires.
Everybody is coming in. Charles Wooten done a phenomenal job covering our pit stops and giving us news and notes throughout the race.
Is he taking tires?
Monday night.
Oh, he is.
And we're seeing drivers taking on tires. Charles, what do you got for us on pit road?
Unfortunately, the gate was closed. I couldn't get across to the pits before they closed it, so I'm stuck up in the booth.
Hey, hold on. Because I tell you something funny.
His hard car got disallowed.
They took 2 tires instead of 4. Everybody else behind them was a split decision, Wesley Outland. I've got Chris Kynes back there in the 9th place position. Looks like he was a 2-tire stop. Tidrick, O'Hare, Lather had an 11.5 second stop, but guess what? That was potentially a full tank of fuel and 2 tires. The first 4-tire stop, Ryan Bloom with a 14.87 pit stop. That could play dividends because he's outside. We haven't seen Ryan Bloom push yet, Wesley.
1/4 of the way through as we are approaching 50 miles in this race. We'll step away. We'll pause for 10 seconds of radio identification. The Northwest CLICKIT RV Fixed Setup Series on the Community Radio Network. And we'll take a break. More from Daytona next.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
At CLICKIT RV, we know there's a lot of heritage and history at this location. RV sales and service has been part of this community for decades. We knew there was an incredible opportunity here, but to see where we've come in just a year is incredible. None of it would be possible without the patronage and support from this community. So whether it be a more convenient and accessible service drive, a fully stocked parts department, or this amazing sales facility, what drives this team daily is making sure our customers leave here with the best possible experience.
Just took a green flag. Back to it again here at Daytona. All right, so we had an incident happen where a couple of trucks got hooked up in it. We're going to keep this on. And now we'll try this again, Terry. Jason, part 2, about 50 miles in.
Yeah, now we finally get to see. There's the 44 of Dennis Moore. He got left by Stephen O'Hare, which is what you were afraid to see when you're the pushy in this situation. Is now you got Lather pushing the 41 of Stephen O'Hare here on the outside. More and more. Brian Bloom tucked into third on the bottom. This is This is crazy.
What are you thinking, Jason?
I tell you what I'm thinking right now. Here comes Clifford, the big red dog. He's coming up inside the top 5. But Dan Lowther's trying to go to the outside line. He's trying to get back up to the lead. With Stephen O'Hare leading Ryan Bloom. They're hooked up now. But Dan Lowther, he's got help behind him. That is the number 44 of Dennis Moore. These guys were so calm those first 2 laps, and now everybody's starting to get double wide again, just like we saw in those first 20 laps.
Climbing up the ladder here, climbing to the line. It'll be lap number 26 completed. That's now O'Hare. Shows his strengths up in the top spot. Battling alongside is Lowther, Bloom, Moore, Ritters, top 5. They climb the banking. Jason, Terry to 2.
Yeah, you got to be careful here if you're the 25 of Ryan Bloom. They had not pushed in 20-plus laps of leading. So now that you're on the back bumper of Stephen O'Hare in the 41 machine, you can't get greedy. You can't get too aggressive. Clear the outside, potentially make the run out there. Get the push from the 63 machine. This would be a great opportunity as he does what I said. I'm telling you, I think these drivers listen to me. Maybe one of them listens to me, they'll tell me I helped them win the race.
Well, they come storming back through the tri-oval here. Now they're back in a 2x2x2 row, back into the 1 corner with Ryan Bloom quickly going right back to the top spot. Ritters now. Clifford is coming to the inside on the bottom with O'Hare. Top side will still work. A little shuffling to the deck. And how about that driver? That's the machine of Dennis Moore. Jason giving a little punt there to allow them to go to the lead at 63-3.
Yeah, you saw Ryan Bloom right there heading into turn 1. He was blocking the outside lane. Then he came back down to the bottom. You don't want to be blocking like that exactly this early in the race, but Dan Lowther is going to the front. Man, oh man, that outside lane has a head of steam. You might as well make him the freight train from Back to the Future Part 3 because they just went out of time and they flew to the front. Dan Lowther all the way back up to the lead, and now Dennis Moore is going to lead that outside line with Chris Kynes behind him. And look no further, like we were talking about, last year's Truck Series Talladega winner, Clifford. That's Toby Ritters. He's still hanging in there right now, and he's right behind Stephen O'Hare as they work their way into 3.
Terry, we're watching them now, and I'll tell you, they got a little bit quickly aggressive right on the restart again.
They got a fast repair in their back pocket. A couple of them don't from that opening caution, but the rest of the field does, and that changed the mindset. It lets you throw blocks like what you just saw right there with the 44 and the 25. They come right across the nose there of the 63 of Lowther. You throw caution to the wind, Wesley Outland, when you have that mulligan in your back pocket down pit lane to reset that car. But once that mulligan's gone, you start to see really, really fast who has it and who doesn't. Because if you don't have it, you're very cautious. When you do have it, you're high, wide, and handsome. You're all the way against the wall. You don't care. Push, shove, pull, doesn't matter. Take it.
And somehow they work their way back off of turn 4. Slicing, dicing on the front of the pavement here, working through the tri-oval. Ryan Bloom back to the bottom. Dennis Moore now hugs to the inside line. He'll open the door to Lowther. Lowther will give some company and let Gormley and O'Hare hook up with each other. This goes on. Ritters is hit the wall. Ritters turns. Duvall in the fence. Lundberg somehow got by. And they pile in. Wow.
You had to think it was coming.
That's 50% of this field and just collected in that accident right there. I'm curious to see how that started. We just talked about fast repair or not fast repair, what you have in your back pocket. Oh, gosh.
Almost the entire half of the field behind the leader's crash. Can you just say a jam session of calamity going into the corner? There is Ritters. He bounced off the 9. Oh, my. And look at this.
Look at Jeff. Oh, man, he almost made it right through that. I believe that was Jeff,
yeah,
or whoever
Jeff
that red
now.
car is. Yeah.
couple
That's
of red
just a
cars.
ton of air, man. That's just a ton of air that come off his car when he was going through the tri-oval.
Can we go
not unheard
extended?
of.
Can we go extended and go on board with Toby Ritters? We're under caution. By the way, Terry Radford, pretty much one of the guys that keep you in sync with everything going on in the world of iRacing news, and there was a developing story of something that happened today that possibly might have been one of the biggest mistakes ever of iRacing history. And Terry, you can also let them know that it's fixed and give them more details about what iRacing is.
Well, it had to be the greatest accident of all time, I would say. But I tell you what, with that QR screen on your or the QR code, not the QR screen, the QR code on your screen, you can find out how to join iRacing. You get 40% off to be a new member. But they brought back the greatest car in the history of iRacing, and I had a good chance today to rip the Gen 4 car around the Atlanta Motor Speedway. And when I tell you, Wesley, if the Northwest Series brought the Gen 4 car back out and let them rip, I would promise you we would be yelling from start to finish, because those things, 750 horsepower, I mean, it's just ripping around the fun part around here. But iRacing had so many people enjoy that car so much in the 24-hour span. It is now an official series on the iRacing platform starting next Monday when we roll over into week number 1 of the calendar season out of the 13-week seasons we have, to be the Gen 4 Fixed Series. It'll be a part of the C Open, C Fixed area. It's going to be a good time. I'll sign the petition as the first one on there that the Northwest Series maybe needs to make a Gen 4 league.
Cool. And you said they're going 700 to 800 horsepower?
You're turning 210 like they used to at Auto Club into the corner with these cars.
Wow.
They took the chip off had a chip on ARCA, right? That's what the old Gen 4 car was, the ARCA car for the longest time. Well, iRacing inadvertently took the chip off, and so brought back the Gen 4 car. So I mean, you run 900 horsepower in the things. I mean, they're wide open. You're burping it. You're not hitting the brake. You're burping it. Takes all the wheel. I did 20 laps, Wesley and Jason, at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, the bumpy version, the 2008 scan that they had.
Right.
I was drenched in sweat after 20 laps. And I was sitting in my sim rig, like with 2 fans on me trying to cool me down. It took that much effort to get that car going with a close pack, not wrecking, trying to figure it out.
That's fun.
She's fun. She's a handful. When you bring your butt down to this area and you come sit in my ring, I'm going to throw you in it and record it.
Oh, my goodness. You'll see me get caught up in that big accident like what just happened. We'll try this
I'll put you
again.
in a test session. You'll be in a test session. We won't let you hit nobody until I let you hit people.
Yeah, he'll hit everything probably but the pace car on the test session, though.
Probably so, okay? I'm just going to tell you the truth. It's being honest. Ready to go back for the restart here? You'll let me hit them?
Yeah.
Well, to each their own, I guess. If I could just figure out how to get the car off a pit road, that's the question.
We should throw you on dirt first.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll try this again. And we are approaching halfway, by the way. Happy International Women's Day to all the women out there. And by the way, for those people, there is an International Men's Day. There is officially an International Men's Day. But men, you'll have to wait until November the 19th. That is International Men's Day. Because I was about to say, if they're going to give all this love to all the, to women, they got to do it for the men too. So there is. So happy International Women's Day to everybody. We're coming to the restart zone. Green flag. Back out. Brian Bloom, Dennis Moore on the front row. Devin West, Lowther, Tristan Wood. Now, Jason, after having a massive pileup What are these spotters telling these drivers right now? They got to calm down, right?
Well, I tell you what, Wesley, if they do have somebody in their ear that actually opts to be their spotter and not the default spotter, you're just telling them. You see one guy already trying to go to the back. That was a pink and white car. Not too sure who that was. But, yeah, I mean, you just saw that big wreck. Not only did we have one, we had two. You know, you got to calm down. We're almost halfway through the race. And like we saw on Monday night, right after lap 40, all hell broke loose. So it's going to be really, really difficult for these guys to try to be patient. There's still a lot of laps left. We're about to be halfway. You know, as Dennis Ford continues to lead, these guys, be patient. Don't push as hard. Give and take. You know, that's all you got to do, and that's how you'll make it to the end. You see, oh my goodness, the 22 Briney Gormley just slid his way right into that bottom lane. It was so narrow coming into turn one.
Harry, I mean, is that pretty much the thing here? We're tearing cars up too early. It's because of just being aggressive or just making mistakes commonly?
I mean, a little bit of both. I mean, all honesty, I 100% agree with Jason on it. Like, you know, you had a dual race. You didn't have this many people on the racetrack at the same time. You didn't necessarily know what, say, Dennis Moore and Ryan Bloom are in different splits for the duel. Sure. You don't know what he can take. You don't know how hard you can push him into turn one. Can you push him into three? Can you push him in the corner? They haven't figured it out. So it's like a mini test session in this race to put yourself in that mindset. And a lot of these drivers have done a lot of official races. They know that you don't necessarily get the same people in official lobbies because your I rating fluctuates. It goes up and down, which puts you in the server the way you want to go. So when I jump into an official race, if I see 2 or 3 people in there that I've seen 3 or 4 times in the sim, hey man, I worked really good with you last time. Let's do it again. And then you build a camaraderie, you build a fan base inside of the official lobbies to say, I can push Terry Radford because he can take the pusher. Man, he's a really good pusher. I want to ride with him to the end. And right now, it's just a lot of new faces and a lot of new people up front that are kind of jockeying around. But our pick to win the race is sitting 6th, Jason, and Ryan Bloom, Wesley's pick, he's 2nd. So we're kind of at a deficit right now, at almost a halfway point.
We are coming up on halfway. As right now, Dennis Moore, new look on his car. I love the numbers on the wrap job of the 44. CLICKIT RV, by the way. Brown, big thanks to them being the title sponsor, as well as Race on Texas, the Press Box Motorsports Podcast Show, Kaufman Creative, and Virginia 811. Call before you dig for the race summary. As we are approaching halfway, let's take a look at the first half analysis of the race. Right now, 2 cautions, 5 caution laps, so there's been around 33 laps of green flag, 8 lead changes. And we are coming across flags here in another lap. Jason, they're off into turn 3.
Yeah, we actually have a yellow flag right now.
Caution.
Interesting to see what happened. Because nobody flew apart. You had to think that had to have happened way in the back of the field. We'll have to get a replay to see if something happened or if we can get some info.
Caution out. We're trying to find out what happened here. As the yellow flag flies for the 4th time in this race. And here is great work. And understanding it's Chris White and a couple of other cars that are involved in this. Terry, what are you seeing here?
Well, you see I'm pushing. Going down into the corner. Oh, the apron. The apron monster's eating people up tonight. Yeah, the apron monster got him.
Apron monster, Miles the monster. I guess they're the same thing, huh, Terry?
Yes. That apron's a different animal. You carry a whole lot of speed in these cars. These are a little bit more difficult to handle than the trucks. The trucks are just light on their feet in the rear. Oh, that was a snaky move back there for Dennis Moore, Ryan Bloom, and Devin West. But I believe they can make it on fuel from here. Oh,
can they?
Dennis missed it.
Can they go? Can they go to the end?
39. Yeah, 39. They should have about 42-ish laps. Should take them to the end. Believe they should.
I tell
be
you
good
what,
on
though,
fuel.
it was smart, though. It was smarter than, though, side note, too, for those guys to pit, because the guys who stayed out just think they're going to have to pit. Now, not saying it will because it's Daytona, but imagine if this race goes green all the way to the end. These guys can make it on fuel. What if Dan Lowther and all those guys who stayed out, they're going to have to pit? I mean, and even if so, they didn't just pit with the field. Even if another caution comes out, they have to go to the back. They'll have to pit, and then they're going to have to try to get through all that chaos getting up through the field, and they're going to put themselves at a super high risk trying to get back up to the front of the field and put themselves in danger.
Terry, obviously, we've said this several times, Jason as well. Daytona, Talladega, big speedways, you don't worry about fuel, or excuse me, well, you better worry about fuel, excuse me, tires, excuse what I'm trying to say. You're not worried about tires. I mean, obviously, can you go the distance? Are they going to try to conserve till you still have the probability of having enough in the tank for overtime, possibly?
No, you won't have enough for overtime at this moment. I think we all know my opinion on tires. I could care less at a super speedway. They're pointless. They're probably the most pointless thing at a super speedway is the fact that the only thing that's going to help you in that situation, especially at Daytona, is handling. So the bumpy Daytona, I would say yes. You know, the old Scan before they repaved it, I cared about tires. I wanted every chance I could get. I put set tires. I don't care now.
Yeah, let's go back to camera here real quickly before we get ready to go back to the green flag, Terry. And I understand your point on this as we kind of have a condensed mid-race report, if you will. But for right now, I'm seeing a lot of impatient moves being made, some mistakes mentally too. You know, we talk about this in the broadcast booth, whether it's reality or virtual. Jason, you got to be on your A game, especially when you're going close to 200 miles an hour next to the guy beside you. You already got to worry about the side draft, the bump draft, the air draft. Anything can cause that disturbance. But then when you turn around and you got people right beside you and you bounce off one another, this is the outcome of what the verdict is that happens.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, you know, and I mean, we've seen a lot of aggressive pushing tonight. We've seen guys get very squirrely off the corners, which is kind of really a little bit unreal if you think about it, because these cars are usually a lot more stable, but these guys are in such condensed packs, you know, especially here at Daytona. You're going upwards of almost 200 miles an hour. But hey, we're a little bit over halfway through this race now. You got to think to yourself, start picking a winner. Terry, I know what you're thinking. We see that number 6 car. He's up there right now, man. So we're getting ready to go, but it should be a fun one. I expect a lot more aggression.
And with that, a very fast mid-race report. But Terry, we go back to on-track action. You can elaborate to what Jason just said.
I mean, our guy's sitting on the outside front row right there. Green flag's out. He's going to get a big shot right there from Chris Kynes. Got a couple Chris Kynes fans out there in the chat. Tommy out there said this is a win stream. I think they know you, Wesley. They name dropped you here, so hopefully everybody's enjoying the stream out there. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. And down the back straightaway, new race leader. That would be the 6 of Dylan Hines.
Okay, thank you, Tommy Daughtery. Thank you, appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the race. And they're saying West is coming for the win. Looking for West. Devin West is who they're rooting for. So right now, watching him come through the trioval. Dylan Huffines, your pick. Jason Terry to the lead. Not for long, though. Lather battles back on the inside after halfway at Daytona. Over 100 miles in. Terry to 1.
Yeah, I got a whole group of friends out there watching side by side into turn number 1. Intensity couldn't have gotten any more ramped up than it already has. Now you're starting to see everybody wanting to get to the front. There's no more relax. You have to keep going. And here we sit to the outside. Here comes that 41 machine of Stephen O'Hare. He's looking on the back bumper of the 22 of Ryan Gormley.
Coming back through the tribal out of turn 4 at the Geico restart zone. And by the way, Jason or Terry, they said that there is not going to be the enforcement of the restarts for this race. Can you elaborate more of what that is for the Northwest and why they decided not to use the restart zone box?
I'll hold my actual opinion. I'll give you the more PC version of it. The restart zone is so small here that you can check the entire field up and wreck before you get to the start-finish line. So if the leaders of the race decide not to go and the outside lane beats the bottom lane or wherever lane choice the leader picks, well, then it gives them a black flag. Oh, no, never go across there. Hold it.
Save it.
Oh, in the grass.
Oh, save it.
Wow. Daryl Tedrick, what a save in 45. Wow, on lap 45, save of the night for Tedrick.
Can we get that one sponsored? The save of the race, powered by CLICKIT RV?
Like they did with the ARCA series. Reese's sweet move of the race.
Wow. Sweet move, save of the race, something. That could have been another big one there, Terry. You were saying, though, about the restart zone.
Yeah, the outside lane could get a good jump and could potentially beat the leader to the start-finish line. It gives you a black flag in iRacing. So you don't turn it on. That back lane gets checked up because the guy sitting in third wants to jack the tires up. Well, that outside lane takes the race lead, and I think if you're Aaron Cooper or you're Kevin Smith, I think you're happy that restart lane is shut off.
Jason, do you think that that is what happened in the race on Monday night with the restart between Bloom and, well, I'm sorry, not Ryan Bloom. I believe it was Mr. BJ Duvall and was it Dan West Jr., I think, maybe?
I believe
I'm trying to think here. Yeah, you think that's what caused it?
Yeah, it's possible, but I mean, honestly, round of applause to these guys. I mean, you could just see how small that restart zone is, and honestly, even the parameters of it, it's not even that big like the actual Geico restart zone here is, Adam, because of the way that the simulator registers the restart zone. But it's a smart idea. I mean, everybody really used to go on green here in any official or open races or fixed races. For any major series here on iRacing, I myself have been a victim before of restarts where people will just check up the entire field at viable, and it just causes calamity. And it doesn't just happen here. It happens at Daytona, Chicagoland, North Wilkesboro, no matter where it is. It's good to just be able to go on green because then everybody goes, and the leader doesn't have necessarily as much of an advantage, but it prevents a lot of guys from jumping the restarts, if you say. But it's getting really dicey up here at the front with Dan Lowther. Aaron Cooper, who was my pick on Monday night, who was so fast. Man, he's here and he's ready for revenge tonight. He's trying to pick himself up a W here tonight in this fixed series.
And by the way, it was Aaron Cooper and BJ Duvall who both got involved in an accident, and Aaron Cooper was able to rally back in the end. What a crazy finish. And I got a feeling we're setting ourselves up for another wild race here. Along with Terry Radford, Jason Rockefeller, Charles Wooten is our producer. This is iRacing on LSRTV, the Community Radio Network from Daytona. Contact! Dennis Moore into the wall. Anyone else collected? Yes. Devin West involved. Sean Brightsman involved. Caution out, Terry, in the tri-oval. Wow.
Yeah, why did the caution take so long to come out? That's the real question. If that caution had happened, I mean, you're taking a look at the replay here.
I wonder if it's because they were still going straight.
It all started from a stupid move from the bottom. The 71
Aaron
jumped
Cooper
out there.
drifted from the, look at this. Cooper got into more. Wow.
Yeah, that's when it starts right there. That's just a product of these guys still staying straight, because I remember at one point during one of our previous broadcasts, Terry did mention that if you are not, I think you said, Terry, it was 90 degrees on the racing surface in iRacing, it will not register a yellow flag, or they're not going slow enough. So they were still at a certain pace to where no caution was necessarily needed to be thrown by the simulator. But eventually at one point, maybe it didn't come out right away, and the race officials, they decided to throw it themselves. But that right there, I'm going to have to say right there, that was a very bad move to the outside by Aaron Cooper.
Yeah, I was going to say, Terry and Jason, Aaron should not have made that move, you're thinking, bottom line.
No, not at all. I mean, can we get another look at that real quick from just the move? All I want to see is the move from the guy on the outside, the 44 of Dennis Moore. So if you look at the RPM shift that you're about to see, our wonderful producer's probably finding it. That we don't normally stop the show just to look at something and give specifics what we want. I mean, if I can get an on board with the 44, right about just a little bit further back of the onboard shot of when he dove up. So here we sit. So you're going to see here. Look at, he's sitting at 8,000 RPM. He's going to sit here all the way down the back straightaway. He'll get up to about 82, 8,300 is where he'll ride. But something's
this is on board with Aaron Cooper, right, Terry?
This is on board.
This is on board with Aaron
Dennis
Cooper.
Moore. This is Dennis Moore.
Okay.
So right here
comes Cooper inside.
Yeah. So he's going to get unattached from the outside lane. The outside lane's going to get unattached. He's not going to get a shot. Look at that. Just look how much speed was a difference there, because he flew right by him with no help, and then he's turned. I mean, pick a lane and stay in the lane.
Came out.
Like
right there, the caution came out.
If you're gonna pick a lane and you're gonna make that lane change, you make the lane change a half a groove up. So if you were on the bottom and you're making the groove change up to that outside lane, you have to make sure you line yourself up with the driver that's there on that outside lane, and make the outside driver make the move to jump to the outside of you or the inside of you. Not to make the move, but you jump to the third lane from the bottom lane. That's what caused the caution. He made a wild move, and the wild move wrecks about 5-6 good cars that might not have a fast repair left.
Cooper again putting the 54, or actually 44, Dennis Moore, the fence. He's able to continue with damage. Then Chris Kynes, Aaron Cooper, Jaden Ledbetter, Robert Gamble, Brett Johnson, Sean Brightsman. Some of the drivers that were just caught up in that incident right now. And Walla Walla, Washington's Kevin Smith is now the leader. By the way, the man behind CLICKIT RV as well, Milton Freewater. Looking to get producing or announcing? Message us on Facebook or at livesimracingtv.com. Celebrating 10 years of broadcasting iRacing, the leader, your home for sim racing. It's iRacing on LSRTV. Well, Jason, Terry, we'll try this again. Now, if you did not pit, are you still in a jam, and are you at an advantage if you pitted to be able to go to the finish of this race now, Jason? Terry, we get the restart. Can they go the distance now and even overtime if necessary, if they just pitted around lap 50?
Yeah, that's right where I'd put it. I mean, they've got 27 laps to go. My math kind of sucks, but yeah, I would put this in the spot if you go lather on back. They pitted for a reason. Yeah, there we go. 28 to go. Be 27 coming in line. Our producer makes it easy for me. Hey, this is double duty for me, and I'm up in 5.5 hours from work. I have an excuse to be tired. I got a busy life here, but the fans out there in the chat,
I do got to tell you, by the way, I got to tell you, buddy, thank you so much for filling in for me, because I would have been doing the Carolina Pro Late Model Series with you for Pit Road TV. However, I had another broadcast obligation with another network, Flow Racing, and glad that you made the trip up to Hickory. What did you think of the series? Pretty cool.
It's pretty fun. I enjoyed it. It was definitely was something I look forward to doing. I hope we're covering them at Dillon, but I think the chat out there thinks that Jason Rockefeller is pretty cute. If we could throw a camera shot of him up there.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Come on, guys. We're trying to work. Let's go back to the restart zone. Back to green. Ryan Bloom, Kevin Smith. My pick back on the front row. Dylan Huffines, your pick, guys, all the way in the top 15. Back underway with 27 to go at the Virtual World Center of Racing. Hey, something we ain't done all night. Rest our voices. Feel the roar of the Northwest CLICKIT RV Fixed Setup Series at Daytona. Storming to the start-finish line in a pack, 25 to go. Terry, it's go time, no doubt about it. You got to start putting those chess pieces in alignment to declare checkmate of who's going to be the first man at the virtual payout window. You got to start doing it right now.
Hell, it's been go time for me since the drop of the green flag. You got to stay up front. You have to be the Pied Piper of Daytona. You have to do what Ryan Bloom's doing. Your pick right here, hold the bottom lane right in front of that 41 of Stephen O'Hare. But the outside lane, don't look now. The 24 in the LSRTV machine of Jeff Stadnow's worked his way up front. He knows how to plate race.
Work into the line, under 25 to go now. Ryan Bloom, the leader. Ryan Gormley, the Ryan Show. And Jason, Ryan Gormley, I think, earned a lot of trust and respect from drivers of the Northwest after his showing in the duels last Wednesday night, no doubt.
Yeah, he was very strong. There was a few drivers who were actually really strong in their duel races. You see the 22. Wow, he got really close to that wall right there. But look at Jeff Stabnow, though. He's here to win it in that beautiful number 24 LSRTV race car. It's such a beautiful pace scheme. But Jeff, he's a driver who I really keep my eye on because he got that pole in the Truck Series, didn't get the showing he wanted to really on Monday night. But he was very strong in his duel last Wednesday night. So I look for him to be a driver. But there's a few drivers up here who we saw earlier get caught up in wrecks, like Tristan T. Wood. Russ Lundberg's all the way back up here in ninth. John Ottbacher, another driver who's a force to reckon with on these super speedways. But everybody right now, the time is ticking. We're getting to go time here. As you see one driver, Ryan Bloom, trying to throw some blocks. They're going to go 3-1. I think they might put him in the sucker.
Stabnow turned.
Oh, shit.
Wrecking, crashing, the big one. Breitzman, Chris White, Dan Lowther, Toby Ritters, Paul Newton, Devin West, Lake Peterson on the binders, on the top shelf in the marbles to miss it all. Another massive pileup. Jeff Stabnow, burst of momentum, Terry, coming to the front, and it's another bump draft gone wrong. And all of the words I was talking about Ryan Gormley, somebody hit him from behind, He had nowhere to go, and then it all just stacked up the field from there. Look at this. Oh, man.
Wow. That's a quarter of the field gone.
That's Jeff Stab now.
He had a fast repair left. I think that's the only thing that makes it work. And to quote our friend Tommy out there, holy cannoli.
Yeah, holy cannoli indeed. So much for a midnight snack.
I mean,
boy,
I'm
oh
hungry.
boy, you're a fan of Waffle House? We just got scattered, smothered, and covered in the third turn.
I'm a massive fan of the Waffle House.
I know we
pretty
are.
awesome if we had. I mean, the Waffle House in Florence is good. The one here in Richmond Hill, Georgia, is pretty good. I hear there's a really good
The
one down
people
in
we got to hang
Daytona
with
when I
at
went down
Florence. Remember when we down to Florence?
Yeah, great people.
Some people.
I'm still in contact with the funny lady that told us a story.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Let's put
You got
that stud
Whataburger.
muffin.
You got Whataburger, Terry. Oh,
let's
Charles,
put
you have Whataburger, okay?
Let's put that stud muffin Jason up on the screen. The fans are
Let's put all three of us on screen. Go ahead.
The stud muffin. They want to see Jason the stud muffin Rockefeller out here. That's who they paid to see. The fans paid to see this stud muffin right here with the carrot top. So that's what they.
Hey,
no. Get
shout
it
out
right.
to
It's
Tommy.
J-Rock Carrot Top. J-Rock Carrot Top. Okay.
We need a Waffle House sponsorship. We praise Waffle House. Tommy is right, and Tommy is one of my best friends. We need a Waffle House in New Jersey, but we need a Waffle House sponsorship. But seriously, though, shout out to Terry. Total side note, but awesome time when me and my friends were down driving through, and we were driving through Richmond Hill, Virginia, and I told Terry, I was like, yeah, sure, we'll stop for breakfast. Never been to a Waffle House.
Ever.
I could not believe how small that place was. But little tiny little story. We had breakfast. Yeah, it is. We had a really nice breakfast. I had myself a large waffle with some chocolate chips and peanut butter chips on it. Great stuff. Terry paid for our entire meal. So what a genuine guy. But we were giving him money to pay back because it's just who we are. Terry took all of our cash and gave it to our waitress. That was $70. So she got a $70 tip that day. But listen, not only was it just, hey, man, like, what the heck? Like, funny. But Terry told me something that I'll never forget because he said you never know what that woman might be going through, and that $70 may have been, something. So, Terry, great guy. I love working with all of you, and we're having such a fun night here on the broadcast, and we're getting ready to go racing. But I tell you what, Wesley, our pick right now is looking pretty good right now, running fifth, but anything can happen.
I will
Ryan
say side
Bloom
note to that.
just got put in the fence.
I will say side note to that. I always ask the question to everybody, and it's the one thing that Wesley taught me and Lenny Baticki taught me too. If you shake the hand of every person at a racetrack or every person you work with, which is why I take it as a badge of honor when I go to racetracks and I meet people. I met David Schildhouse, Travis Moonhead, Landon Huffman, Blake McCandless, James Pike, all these people I worked with on iRacing, Wesley Outland. If you shake their hand and look them in the eye and tell them how much you respect them and that you appreciate working with them and what they've done for you, you go a little bit further. And the one thing I can say in my short little career from November to now of going to racetracks, I think I've been to 10 or 15 so far in just a small little quarter of a year. There's one thing they won't say about Terry Radford is that he was disrespectful. I've shook every hand, whether you work concessions, the security gate, you clicked a radio. I made sure to shake your hand and say thanks for coming and supporting. And I tell you one thing that's awesome. If I could plug short tracks for a second around this country, the Hickory Motor Speedway, my first ever call in a booth was the largest opening crowd in 20 years. And I had the pleasure of meeting over 200 race fans that just said, we loved limited late model stocks, bandoleros, legend cars. It doesn't matter. Go to your short tracks and watch racing.
Carolina Pro late model series and the Carolina Crate Modifieds. Got to get it right. Love our series, guys. Yes, love the Keith and Wendy Graham. And by the way, I always say this as we go back to the green flag. Hashtag never forget where you come from. Hashtag always follow your dreams. And most of all, like Terry said, hashtag be humble and kind. We are closing in on 20 to go. 160 miles are down, 40 miles to the finish. And we are back to green on the back straightaway. Terry, here we go. John Ottenbacher, when it comes to super speedways, Talladega, Daytona, trucks or cars, the 89 is back up to the front.
And he's loyal, too. He did not leave the 22. I'm sorry, he didn't leave the 99 of Troy Daggett on that outside lane to go down there and flirt with the pretty bartender on the bottom in that 22 of Ryan. He stayed up there. He continued to work with his friends, and friendship is huge when it comes to plate racing. I trust 4 people, and that's it to be on my back bumper that whole race. And if I lose them, I go get them. And so here we are at this moment. You see John Ottenbacher up there. He's working with that 99 of Troy Daggett. They have to get some stability up on that outside lane. You cannot win this race as a 2-car tandem on the bottom. I'm not going to say it, but look who's in fifth.
Here he comes. Dylan Huffines, Dilly at Daytona. He's got a strong car, Jason, working on 4 to the tribal.
Yeah, he's got a really fast car, but hey, listen, quick little shout out. Look at Frank Harris in that number 11 car.
Yes, sir.
He was wrecked, and I believe he finished in the top 10, or if not top 15, on Monday night after wrecking and causing a self-spin in turns 1 and 2. Shout out to Frank. What a race for him tonight. Hopefully he can come out here with a really strong finish. But yeah, like Terry was saying, John did not leave Troy Daggett. That is a very key thing. So if there's a predicament later on in the race towards when this thing winds down, I think Troy knows that I can push John. He'll work with me, and John knows that I can work with Troy as well. So those two already have a bonded friendship. But real shout out though to John Ottenbacher for not ditching him and not cutting across the 22's bumpers. Wow, Kevin Smith squirrely out of line there, because if John Ottenbacher would have cut off the 22, that could have been a massive pile up at the front of the field.
Almost below the double yellow line. They get back up on track again. Opens the door is Huffines, letting Smith come through. Gormley still holds on to that spot. The 22 rookie driver in the lead. But here comes Ottenbacher, the Billings, Montana number 89. He's won at Daytona. He's won at Talladega. There's something about super speedway racing for that driver. And here comes also Terry, Troy Daggett right in the dogfight too.
Can I change my pick? Because I see a fancy little 11 back there in Frank Harris, the underdog that could. The duck is quacking to the front. Could we see a Pac-10 winner come out of this race in that 11 as the 89 of Ottenbacher? He leaves Troy Daggett on the outside. Come on, Frank Harris. Push that 99 of Troy Daggett to the lead. Go get you a win. Quack it to the front. So I might sing your fight song, but somebody needs a Tennessee volunteer
attack. He's got that Oregon Ducks. He's got the Oregon Ducks on the car, the quack attack, trying to help out Daggett. Meanwhile, 15 to go. They're getting a little unorganized, and here comes Huffines from the bottom to the top. Smith hung out to dry by himself. Now Huffines will come to help. Ottenbacher, Gormley, and look at that move, Jason. He cut him off.
Oh, man, Wesley, Terry, these guys are getting super dicey. You got Dylan Huffines going to the top of the center at 3 and 4. You got Kevin Smith, who was just so squirrely, went to the top, back to the bottom. These guys are now making moves. It's go time, guys. There's under 15 laps to go. And John Ottenbacher is a guy to reckon with up at the front of the field. He is going to be super strong, going to be super aggressive. But I don't know, Terry. Here comes Dylan Huffines. They're back into 3 now. Here comes on the outside lane with Troy Daggett behind him.
They always tell me, Wesley, that the best way to win at a super speedway track is to think like an idiot. Think like a Walmart stockbroker, the person who designs those things. Because, well, you got to make moves that no sane person's willing to make. You have to be able to go from the bottom to the top to the middle, work the air, work the magic, work the traffic. And right at the moment, the person who has worked it the best is the 89 of John Ottenbacher. He's missed the wrecks, he's missed the rain, he's missed it all, putting him to the lead. Now here comes the 22. Huffines looks in the middle. They're about to stack them up.
Oh,
son.
wow. Oh, they're about to stack them up from the floor up into the corner into turn number 3. Gormley with a bunt there. A hit by Huffines inside Ottenbacher with the punt by Smith. The draft. The two-car tandems we're starting to see now.
Oh, Ottenbacher's turned.
Smith turns Ottenbacher. Ottenbacher into the grass. Everybody keeps going straight after Ottenbacher turned. No caution at Daytona. And Ottenbacher is out of it. Wow. 12 to go.
That leaves the outside high.
Terry, why was a caution not thrown?
He was not on the racing surface. He was in the grass, so he had to be 90 degrees on the racing surface. He was not. He's in the grass, kept it going, kept it straight. But that outside lane looks primed and poised as the 99 of Troy Daggett got to the back bumper of the 6th. They almost make contact for the lead. Coming to 11 laps to go. Pop 6. Oh, God bless it. They're pushing like madmen out here.
Yeah, it's go time, no doubt about it. They've turned up the wick. It's in full maximum overload now. And you got also, Jason, slow cars up in the front of the fast pack. And we've seen a couple of times that they can't get to the bottom fast enough. And they just get swallowed up. And then everybody on the top side's like, again, here we go. Watch them on the back straightaway. They got to get quickly to the inside to avoid that lap car on the top.
Well, that's the thing. The lap cars, sure, they might be slower, but they are entitled to go to whatever lane they choose to. Yes, it's out of respect to go up to the outside lane, but it's the drivers that are coming from behind them to make sure that they can get around them as quickly as possible and safely. They don't have to move out of the way. They can go whatever way they want to, and so could the lap cars. And that's exactly how Ryan Gormley was able to get to the front. He used the lap cars to pick a few laps to go to get to the outside lane and take guys that were caught off guard. Right now, he's up in the front, but Dylan Huffines our pick. 10 laps to go. They're side by side, complete in 1 and 2. It's getting dicey.
10 to go here at Daytona. And go time has now become who's gonna win it. The payout window is open. It's taking all comers. Everyone slicing, dicing, inside, outside. They move the conveyor belt of speed up the bank and into 3. Gormley hugs the bottom. Huffines on the top. Here comes a third lane for him, and if they can get something started with Lake Peterson up on the outside.
Yeah, that old boy in that Hooters 9 machine, he knows how to win these things. Podium 500 winner, multiple racing platforms for the 9 of Lake Peterson on these plate tracks. He knows what he's doing in all forms of racing, whether it's late models, which is new to the iRacing service, mind you, for the Cars Tour, and in the Xfinity cars, which is here in the Northwest CLICKIT RV Fixed Series here. He can make that outside lane work. I've got about 5 wins here at Daytona and Xfinity Series. I understand a little bit of how to get around this place, but that 6 machine, he's figured it out too, but he's got a really good pusher in the 99 of Troy Daggett, and also they got a really good blocker in Frank Harris.
And I was about to say, Frank Harris, what in the world? Look at Frank. He's just awesome. Blocking him 2-3 lanes wide. Giving room, trouble, west in the grass.
Caution.
They save it again.
Frank. Oh, no. Harris in the fence. He saves it. Now they crash into him. Caution is out. Oh, my.
Well,
try not to think about what might have been for the legend in the 11. Wow. Here's a replay. Terry, you called it. They were getting very, very antsy, blocking 3-4 lanes, run out of room. Here's the first slip right there. Paulison turns into west. And then here's what happened to 11. Is that Peterson? Peterson and Harris.
Just turned him.
Yeah. I don't believe Frank came up into him, actually.
No, he came down, and it took that took a good bit of people down. That it took a good bit of people out of this race. And for Frank Harris,
yeah, Ryan Keene's also involved. Frank Harris, Lake Peterson with damage. Whew. Boy, oh boy. And we go again. 7 to go.
Gonna be just like Monday.
Yeah, setting ourselves up for it. Let's take a look at the Virginia 811 call before you dig race summary. So far in this event, bottom left, and 6 cautions, 13 laps, 19 lead changes. Terry, I don't think they're done wrecking yet, are you?
And they better be, because if they're not, then I'm looking down this board. Kevin Smith is not going to make it on fuel. Maybe Ryan Gormley.
Do you pit?
No. Hell no. 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 Hell no. Hell no. Do you come down pit road
Some were
unless you
thinking
got damage?
about it. I mean, there was a couple of side jogs.
No. They're trying to fake people out. Hell no, you don't pit. If you're in this top 5, you ain't pitting, because I mean, I would rather run out of fuel if you're Kevin Smith. Like, I would rather run out of fuel and say I bowed out with 4 laps to go when they take the green flag to win here. You're clutching this thing right now. You got the thing shut off. You know, you're on the bottom. You're taking the shortest way around here. You are not coming to pit road. And if you do, the whole field better have wrecked with you. Yeah, he's clutched. He's minimal throttle, 4th gear right now. You hear the motor's not even trying to turn on. Go to another car for me. You'll hear a different sound. Frazier's saving. He went to the guy behind him. Hit it on like 40.
Though.
What you mean by clutching, guys? You mean they're cutting the engines off to save fuel, right?
They're just clutching to shut the motor from having RPMs. You're getting it to the speed you want it to be, and then you're just rolling with it. See, back here, Paulison's actually got a little bit of gas to him. He's got 50. He pitted on lap 59. He's able to continuously stay in the throttle, even if it's 3/4 throttle. But everybody else, it's just silent. It's just
he's
running.
just rolling through the banking. He's rolling through the banking is what he's doing.
He's hoping
and
that
is
the
there
guy
any
behind
chance,
him
Terry, you can stall the car? Can you virtually stall the race car?
No.
Well, actually, yes, but you have to be an idiot to do it. Like you have to be a literal idiot to stall the car. Like you have to shut it off and have the actual clutch
There's
on.
that mode with the anti-stall clutch on that usually everybody runs.
If you have anti-stall off and you actually have to hit the clutch to do it, then yes, you could stall it, but you would literally have to be an idiot to do it.
Yeah, the only time though that people actually have those off are usually when they're running the 87 series.
Or road racers do it, but road racers do it so they can actually combine the clutch and the brake at the same time. But that's also in real life stuff too. I mean, you don't have the anti-stall, but in the new next-gen cars, it's sequential shifters. You don't even touch a clutch. The clutch really doesn't exist. You just burp the gas and shift and let it set its place in gear. But in these cars alone, you can you're about to find out real quick with Kevin Smith, if we stay on board with him for this restart, how much fuel's in that bad boy, because he's barely trying to turn 3,000 RPMs. And there he goes. He just shifted it to second. He's on the clutch. He's on the clutch. He's going to get off the clutch here in a second. It's going to jump back to 4. When we watch him shift that thing into second for the first time, you're going to watch it and you're going to hear it go. It's just going to make like a windy sound and then a big jump.
I tell you what, though, little side note, can you imagine what's going to happen to this field if Kevin Smith just so happens somehow miraculously gets up to the front of the field and then runs out of fuel? If you're the field, what do you do? What do you do?
Nothing. Hit him.
I heard it. I heard it.
I told you, man. I love the sound of these cars. Now watch him when the pace car comes off. He needs to get right to the back bumper, right on the TRD logo on that 22. Here he goes. He's listening to me. Get up there on that back bumper, and the moment you feel him start to get off your bumper, I swear, gone. Son, he's on the bumper. He's ready to go. He gave the 22 the shot to go.
10 miles left. Daytona. It's go time. I think I said it already. It's about to be maximum overdrive as they climb the banking to turn 1. Ryan Gormley, Kevin Smith, conserving fuel, but he's on the go button again out of turn 2, Terry.
field got a lazy start. I mean, this pack is spread out like butter on a piece of toast. There's only 2 cars to the outside. Now make it 3.
Might be the smartest thing to happen.
Single
They're
file.
going to get a huge run, though.
The 6 might win this thing, Jason. We might be the smartest 2 here.
And that's the thing. They got a nice runaway, but then they're going so fast, Jason, when they come to speed, it just swallows them up really, really quickly. We just saw that. 10 miles to go, under 10 miles to go, 3 wide, going at it for 3 to go now.
Oh, man,
3 to
Huffines
go.
jumped right up to the top side there. He left Troy Daggett. He didn't want any part of it. They're 3, almost 4 wide. Oh, my goodness, this isn't going to hold.
There's
no way they make it down the backstretch.
They left our guy.
Cole Rass is coming.
Oh, he wrecked him.
Oh,
he's
turned.
up in the air.
Odenbacher. Daggett's crashed. West is involved. Hunter pulls away. Another accident. Huffines caught up in it. How badly damaged is the 6? And we're going to go to overtime.
He's got a fast there. He'll figure it out.
My. Wow.
Bump draft gone wrong.
That's exactly right. Bump draft gone wrong, Terry. Watch it. Bump draft gone wrong.
Are we on board with the? No, we're on board
This
with
is
the 89. We're on Odenbacher right now. So just turns, just hit. Oh gosh, he had Kevin Smith all in his mirror. Oh, and then he's. Oh, okay.
Odenbacher upside down, flipping violently. Wow. Oh my goodness. And again, Terry, that was his second shot to come to the front, and his car was pretty damn fast.
Oh yeah, he's quick. And that just shows that the 10 got a big run right here. Gets a big run. You're taking it at this moment. You're not lifting. This is not a, this is 27. Yeah, it's Cole Rass. Or Paul Newton is 27.
Well, actually,
so
no. You got 2 27s. You got a Paul Newton car, then you got a 27. It's the 10 of Cole Rass, and he was starting to come to the front there, Terry.
Yeah. So that was Cole Rass. So you're not lifting at this moment. And if you lift right here, don't race a plate track. Like there's 32 people watching. Might not be more. I haven't refreshed it. But if you lift at a plate track with 3 laps to go, or 2 laps to go, or 5 laps to go, don't race with me. If you see me in your lobby, hit Control Alt Delete and get out of my lobby, because I don't want you on my back bumper. Get out of my lobby.
He didn't even say
I
lobby.
don't
He
want
said
you
Lurby.
here. Yeah, get out of it.
Hey,
I don't want you pushing me.
We just had another massive crash on a back draft, on a bump draft gone wrong, and we're fans of the dirt racing in the local world of Waffle House, and they just got diced, sliced, chunked, chopped. The hell with scattered, smothered, and covered. We're at the top of the hour. We'll pause for 10 seconds of radio identification, and we are going to overtime from Daytona. It's the Northwest CLICKIT RV Fixed Setup Series. Community Radio Network and iRacing on LSRTV.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
At CLICKIT RV, we know there's a lot of heritage and history at this location. RV sales and service has been part of this community for decades. We knew there was an incredible opportunity here, but to see where we've come in just a year is incredible. None of it would be possible without the patronage and support from this community. So whether it be a more convenient and accessible service drive, a fully stocked parts department, or this amazing sales facility, what drives this team daily is making sure our customers leave here with the best possible experience.
Said behind the broadcast curtain, said behind the broadcast curtain.
Exactly. Oh, wow. Welcome back, Terry Radford, Jason Rockefeller, Charles. Y'all broke me. 1 to go now. We're going to go to overtime.
He's Wesley Outland, by the way.
I'm Wesley Outland. Yeah, I forgot to tell you my dang name. We're ready for a restart here. Jason, overtime. I mean, here you go. Definitely a lot more excitement than what Monday provided.
Yeah, we didn't see that on Monday night. Those guys ran the scheduled distance, but look at Caden Anderson on Monday night. He was able to hold off the entire night, and then he was able to win it. We didn't talk about him all night until that very last lap. And look at Paul Newton, sitting 6th right now. We haven't talked about Paul Newton all night. Same with Cole Raz. And right now, they're 3rd and 5th right now. This could get interesting very quickly. It's anybody's
What about
race.
Briar Reynolds? What about Briar Reynolds? What about Dennis Moore? What about Lake Peterson up back in there in the top 10, Terry? How about Seth Frazier?
Well, we ain't talked about Tristan Wood either, and he's sitting in the 10th place position. All of those drivers, guess what their strategy was? It's the strategy I
Stay
brought
the hell
up
out of the
many moons
Stay out of the
ago.
way.
Stay the hell out of the way, go to the back, let it ride, be there at the end. They all saved the fast repair, mind you.
Oh.
If we wreck to get a second attempt of a green-white checkered finish, there's only 20 people left. You don't have far to go. We just watched Cole Raz come from the middle of nowhere. I mean, he literally came from nowhere to 3rd. So with Paul Newton.
And remember, there's 3 attempts at overtime. If the leader takes the white, they race to the finish, wreckers or checkers. If not, we'll re-rack them, restack them, do-si-do for again. Green flag back out. Ryan Gormley trying to make history to win in Daytona. He closed down to the inside. Cole Raz, though, remember, he won the Cup race at Daytona last year. He's got that number 27 right behind the 2-car tandem there, Jason, as they go to the back straightaway.
Yeah, they're going to have a really big run, though, on Cole. Cole's going to have to push the 22, but wow, I cannot believe he just made that move, and he's actually going to have help. Never mind. No, he doesn't. Seth Frazier says, I'm sticking with the 22. Cole Raz is hung out to dry. They're coming to the white flag. Seth Frazier is in the catbird seat, but here comes the 6 of Dylan Huffines. They might wreck, but here they come to the white flag this time.
3 wide, coming to the line, white flag in the air. This is it. One more lap. Race is official. 3 wide. It's Huffines in the middle. There's contact. Huffines turns Gormley. He's in the fence. Daggett's involved. Raz crashes. Newton involved. Wrightsman's wrecked. Who's in the lead?
You gotta
Terrell
be kidding
Tendrick.
me.
Terrell Tendrick with a car beat up like a modified. Look at this, Terry. He's in the lead, Terrell Tendrick.
He's not just in the lead, boys. He's pulling away 4 seconds.
That was the whole
5
field.
seconds. Put 6 seconds. Everybody else is wrecked, junked on the front straightaway. This is the most anticlimactic finish through 3 and 4 to the tri-oval. The 45 no front bumper. Darrell Tendrick wins the season opener at Daytona. Who finished as second? Who lips to the finish line?
But they're still wrecking.
And they're still crashing behind them. Darrell Tendrick will win at Daytona. Paul Newton will finish second. 5 seconds back, they wreck again. Ron Hunter third. That's like a win for the 30. What in the wow. Have you ever seen anything like this?
Ahead of the lead, Wesley. 5.5 second lead at Daytona. And he doesn't have a front bumper. There is nothing there. He was involved in the wreck.
We have to ride on board with him. Oh, my goodness.
I cannot believe what just happened here.
That's crazy.
My.
The whole damn field wrecked. I almost
BJ, no, sir. There was no overtime on Monday. There was still the regular scheduled distance, and you guys wrecked each other on the restart for the final time. Penny, for your thoughts. Let's watch this. Wow.
He had a
I can't believe what we just saw.
This was the craziest finish I've ever seen.
Is this with Tendrick?
Yeah.
This is on board with Darrell Tendrick. This is how he did it. In probably the craziest. Wow.
So we had Wrightsman. Then he had the 44-4.
And Huffines is coming to the front. You're seeing the 6 climb there, Terry.
Yeah, so the 6, he's going to make the move. Cole Raz to the outside here. The 6 moves to the outside, not even 20 feet past the start-finish line. We wad them up like a Burger King wrapper. Here we go. We're wrecking right here. Cue the wreck. And then here goes the 45. I don't think he lifted. Oh,
Wow.
he did
a little bit.
He didn't lift the lick. He went
No,
about
he
his
lifted a
day.
little bit.
Pardon me. Excuse me. Whatever. I'm there. He's
He
gone.
was
know,
dirt
Terry,
tracking into
Terry,
turn 1.
Terry, you remember the movie Days of Thunder when Cole Trickle
That's
was going through the big wreck and he
That's
said
that
you
movie
can
right
drive
there.
through it? I know it in my heart. That's a perfect virtual description of what he
blew
just
the
did.
And then he blows it up
He just blew
doing
up
a
the
burnout.
engine.
Oh my gosh.
How in the hell did he
Wow.
win that race by 5.5
Daryl
seconds?
Kendrick wins Daytona. I can't believe this.
my
Paul
God.
Newton second, Ron Hunter third. These are the guys that we never really get to talk with that much on the podium. Brian Reynolds with a top 5 with Sean Breitzman, Seth Frazier, Brett Johnson, Dennis Moore, Devin West, Cole Rash, your top 10. Holy cow, man.
Let's go back to 11th. You got Troy Daggett, who was up front all race long. Frank Harris had a rebound from the accident early when he was riding in the third place on the outside lane. Stephen Paulison, Kevin Smith got wrecked on this, what sent us to overtime. Blake Peterson wrecked there. Dylan Huffines, our pick, wrecked there. Tristan Wood wrecked. John Ottenbacher wrecked. Ryan Gormley turned from the lead. Stephen O'Hare, wrong place, wrong time. Rounds out your top 20.
Yeah, and then you got 21st, Ryan Bloom, who was strong all night long, probably one of the most dominant cars all night. 22nd, you got Jaden Ledbetter. 23rd, Chris Kynes. 24th, Sam Teets. Zach Rush, and that number 82 machine comes home 25th. Dan Lowther, another strong car, comes home just outside the top 25 and 26. Chris White, a driver who I was actually surprised we never really got to see much, 27th. Russ Lundberg, 28th. Chad Malik, 29th. Tyler Kim rounds out your top 30.
31st will go to, again, Tyler King. Toby Ritter's 32nd. Jeff Stabnow, 33rd. James Vining, 34th. Aaron Cooper, 35th. Robert Gamble, Ambrose Kinnable, BJ Duvall, Carl Berg, Scott Hutchinson, the top 40. And the rest of the rundown, including also, let's take a look one more time at the Virginia 811 call before you dig. Race analysis at the finish of this race. 7 cautions, 21 caution laps, and 20 lead changes, especially the most important one of them all. Daryl Tedrick is a first-time winner of the Northwest Racing Series Fraternity of Brothers and Sisters of the Pacific Premier iRacing Series. We will grab a word with him tonight, along with Paul Newton, Ron Hunter. Don't go anywhere. The Press Box Motorsports Podcast post-race show coming up next from Daytona. This is iRacing on LSRTV. Welcome back to Daytona. Coverage of iRacing on LSRTV, the Community Radio Network. It is time for the finish line. Post-race wrap-up. Don't forget everything from virtual to reality sports talk with Charles Wooten and Brockton Packard and a whole host of other guests every Sunday afternoon. Actually, correction, we don't know when it will be. Just follow the social media for the times of the show. Wesley Outland, Jason Rockefeller, Terry Radford has hit the road to go Boing Voyage to La La Land. Boy, we will never forget this one. Daryl Tidrick, take it all in. We'll grab a word with you in a moment, but first let's go down the podium. Third place, Ron Hunter. Ron, this is like a win for you, man. What a race at Daytona, this on the podium.
Yeah, this was a different one. I had a lot of high hopes coming in. I was outside pole, and then my iRacing froze as we were going to the grid. So I started off 40th.
Wow.
Yeah, I started off 40th, 2 laps down, and battled back. And it was a lot of fun. Nice being able to represent Team Ramrod and Hunter Performance Motorsports, and had a good time tonight.
Ron, first off, man, congratulations on third, because I had no idea. We were wondering in the booth, me, Terry, and Wesley, we were like, there are 3 guys who weren't starting. I wonder why, you know? And then find out now, here we are, you're 2 laps down. You come home in third, man. That's like a win right there. Like Wesley said, man, now you got to look at the rest of the season with the momentum you build from Daytona, and yes, it's Daytona. How do you expect the rest of your season to go on, knowing that there's a long road to go, but with moments like this, it might boost your confidence up a little bit?
Yeah, I think it'll be a good season. Last year was my first year running iRacing at all, and joined the Northwest Series, and I wasn't great. I ran around the middle to back most of the season, but did a lot of practice, and I'm looking forward to the season. I think I'll shock some people this year.
I tell you, man, you looked very, very strong last week for sure. But I mean, it's a totally different world from the duels to then preparing for the big show. But you gotta pace yourself. And you were already in behind the 8 ball, being 2 laps down. Did you know you needed to stay out of everybody's way because you knew trouble was coming?
Yeah, I was just trying to keep track of who was a lap down so I could make sure I timed the lucky dogs. Unfortunately, that first caution, car rolled back up the track and got me, so I didn't get it. So I was a little worried, but I saved that fast repair and went in each caution and got a little damage fixed and slowly worked my way back up. And at the end, just like Daryl, the seas parted, and I kind of watched the back of his truck and tried to work my way through.
Oh, man. Thank your sponsors, bud. I think you're already done it. Do it again.
Yeah, Hunter Performance Motorsports, Hunter Print Media, and obviously Team Ramrod for taking me in during my first season. And again this year, I'm looking forward to running with these guys. It's a great group of guys that I see at the track every week on a regular basis in real life. So pretty cool to be a part of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ron Hunter going to be 3rd place in the points for a championship after today as well, because this is the first points race of the season before the playoffs. He'll finish in 3rd. Paul Newton, the Newton Designs, the road course king. This is a guy that normally does good on road courses. Oh, boy, after all these crazy wrecks, Paul Newton, it felt like a road course, didn't it? You finished 2nd.
Yeah, I had to turn left as well as right there. I went with a fast steering box just so I'd be able to steer through the wrecks, honestly. The whole idea of the day was just to stay out of the wrecks. I was just trying to find a comfortable spot to ride, and when the wrecks happened, just dodge them, and I managed to do it all the way up until that last lap, so it's all you can hope for.
Yeah, Paul, you were really strong last year in the Northwest Truck Series, and now with the return of this Xfinity fixed B car, what are your anticipations, and what do you expect from not only the series, but what do you expect out of yourself going forward for this year, considering that this is the return of this series, and a lot of guys don't really have so much experience, but maybe somebody like you might. So what do you expect this year with this car in the series?
Well, I was a little disappointed that there's, I think, only one road course on the schedule this season, but it's gonna be a big learning year for me. You know, I had really good setups in the Truck Series last year. I wouldn't have been able to get in the top 4 in the finale without my teammates at Beaver State Racing. But now this fixed series, this is gonna tell me how I really measure up, and I'm gonna really have to learn how to drive this season, I think, if I'm gonna keep it up front in the B series we're running this year.
Paul, you were part of the accident there. They were wrecking hell coming from the line for 2nd and 3rd. Weaseling by the big wreck going on the white in turn 1 and 2, and then somehow holding off Brightspin and Reynolds and Frazier coming at you for 2nd and 3rd to be on the podium.
Yeah, I had to make my car a little bit wide there, and I kind of stuffed everybody at the finish line. But you know, in the final 50 laps, or the final 50 feet of the last lap, what the hell else can you do?
Every point matters.
I'm sorry, you just made me choke on my lifted breast, sweet tea.
Every point matters.
Oh wow! Hey, congratulations, though, man. Nothing wrong with silver, as they said in Ricky Bobby, man. Paul Newton, he'll finish in the number 2 spot. Victory lane. You saw him. I didn't know who the heck it was because his car was totally missing. It looked like a modified, if you will. He blows the engine during the celebration, and he is now a winner of the Fraternity of the Northwest Racing Series Family of Drivers of Season 10. Daryl Tedrick, congratulations. I said, and I quote to everybody, that looked like Days of Thunder when Cole Trickle was being coached by Harry Hogg to get through the big wreck in the Daytona 500. Shades of Daytona. I read, ironically, you just did that tonight here at Virtual Daytona. You're a winner of the Northwest Series, brother.
Thank you. You know, and it truly was a Days of Thunder moment because I knew that the only chance that I had to win was just hopefully the seas would part and I could keep that pedal down and just get out front. And luckily, that's all that happened. You know, I had a good car, found myself up front a couple different times, just couldn't quite get the luck that I needed after a miscue with my crew chief and first pit stop. Just kept getting involved in the wrecks and getting tore up. So, no, it feels great to come back and get a win finally. This is a great group of guys to run with, and I've ran with them off and on for a couple years now, and thankful that I could finally get one.
Daryl, I ain't gonna lie, man. I don't really got much to say besides what the hell was going through your mind when you were heading into turn 1 and saw the whole field flying apart.
I was asking myself, did this really just happen? Like, where the heck did everybody else go? Because there had to have been another car that made it through somewhere around me.
Well, listen, you are a winner of the Northwest Racing Series, and you are also a points leader for the championship. This has got to give you a lot of momentum to say, hey, man, I can do this. I can run with these guys, for sure. I've always told people, once you finally break through, you get that first win. A win's a win. I know people can say it's a fluke, it's Daytona, it's super speedways, whatever. Don't take this win away from this guy, for sure. You had to go through your own trials and tribulations to have to win this event.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I am the Ricky Stenhouse of iRacing right now, but honestly, I'm going to have to put in some work to race with these guys the full season and remain competitive. And I think I'm going to, you know, put in a lot more work now, especially that I've got that carrot in front of me and I've got that win under my belt now.
Now, are you going to go to a local Waffle House and take a picture of, like, you know, the race, the car, celebrate with somebody in Victory Lane like we saw Stenhouse do after Daytona?
You know, I'm kind of a fat guy, so I'll find somewhere to eat. I'll probably go to Yakima Steak Company, being they're one of my sponsors, and Whiskey Saloon. You know, they're a great group of guys. I worked for them years ago when I was in high school, and I can't thank them enough for, you know, letting me put them on my car. And, you know, 1-5 Studios for giving me a nice paint job, even though it didn't show much there at the end of the race.
Well, listen, man, congratulations to you. No doubt. Enjoy this moment. I said in the chat box as a farewell to everybody in the broadcast, by far, this week, and like what Jason said, my God, we thought Monday night was friggin' wild. And I said it when I got the headset on to come on the air tonight. I said, what in the hell is in store for this race to top what happened Monday? And my goodness, y'all did it. And you did it. Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you guys, and we'll see you guys next week. And hopefully next week I'll have a little bit better speed and won't rely on my luck so much.
Oh, man, thank you so much again. Well, Daryl Tedrick winning a wild one at Daytona. Thank you to all the viewers, all the listeners, all the comments. Hit that subscribe button if you ain't already done so as well at LSRTV. Follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, as well as iRacing. And thank you to Terry Radford. Jason, oh my goodness, bro. Put me to bed, mama. I've seen too much of a virtual ride this week. The Northwest does not disappoint.
It never does, never will. I mean, oh my goodness. Monday night, Caden Anderson escapes calamity, multiple wrecks on the last lap. Tonight, they wad him up into turn 1 on the final lap. And, I mean, I have no damn words.
The winner breaks away by like 5 seconds, and then second and third wreck each other coming to the checkered flag.
4 wide coming to the line. I'm sitting there, and I'm like, you're sitting here making the call in the booth, and you're like, who's going to get second? I'm watching, I'm like, they're 4 wide. Like, not only did we have a wild finish, we had a wild winner, we had a wild wreck with Daryl Tendrick pulling a Cole Trickle moment into turn 1, and you got 4 wide for second. What a night. I cannot wait to see what's in store for the Northwest Division for the rest of the year here at LSRTV with y'all.
Every Monday night, Truck Series. Every Wednesday night, the Fixed Setup Series. And, of course, thanks to Rocket Racing Media, iRacing on LSRTV, the Community Radio Network. For Jeff Stabnow, Charles Wooten, Terry Radford, Jason Rockefeller, I'm Wesley Outlet. Congratulations, Daryl Tendrick winning a wild one for tonight.